The human brain, a 3-pound universe of intricate folds and neural networks, is a marvel of nature. It orchestrates our thoughts, emotions, and actions. It allows us to perceive the world, learn from experiences, and form complex relationships. One of the most intriguing aspects of the brain is its division into 2 hemispheres, the left and the right, each with specialized functions. The left hemisphere, often dubbed the logical brain, is associated with language processing, analytical thinking, and reasoning. It excels at tasks that require logic, sequencing, and attention to detail. The right hemisphere, on the other hand, is known as the creative brain. It governs spatial awareness, intuition, and emotional intelligence. It helps us understand metaphors, interpret facial expressions, and appreciate art and music. These 2 hemispheres, though seemingly distinct in their functions, are not isolated entities. They communicate and collaborate constantly through a thick band of nerve fibers called the corpus callosum. This intricate network allows information to be shared between the 2 halves, ensuring that the brain operates as a unified whole. However, what happens when this intricate connection is severed? What happens to our sense of self, our consciousness, when the brain is literally split in 2? Hemispherectomy, as the name suggests, is a radical surgical procedure where one hemisphere of the brain is completely removed. This drastic measure is usually reserved for extreme cases such as severe epilepsy that doesn't respond to medication, or when a hemisphere is severely damaged due to stroke, trauma, or infection. The procedure, while daunting, is a testament to the brain's remarkable plasticity, its ability to rewire itself and adapt to change. When one hemisphere is removed, the remaining half takes on many of its functions, albeit not always perfectly. Children who undergo hemispherectomy, especially at a young age, often display remarkable recovery, regaining motor skills, language abilities, and cognitive functions. But the question remains, what happens to their consciousness? Do they become half the person they were before? Or does their sense of self remain intact despite the loss of half their brain? The aftermath of a hemispherectomy can be challenging, both for the patient and their loved ones. There are often physical limitations, such as weakness on one side of the body, and challenges with coordination and balance. Depending on the age of the patient and the hemisphere removed, there might be difficulties with language, memory, or spatial awareness. However, what's truly astonishing is the resilience of the human spirit. Many individuals who undergo hemispherectomy lead fulfilling lives. They go to school, hold jobs, form relationships, and contribute meaningfully to society. Their experiences challenge our fundamental understanding of the brain and raise profound questions about the nature of consciousness. If a person can function and indeed thrive with only half a brain, what does this tell us about the relationship between our physical organ and our sense of self? Does consciousness reside in the entire brain, or can it be localized to specific regions? To delve deeper into the enigma of consciousness, let's consider the intriguing case of Cleverbot, an artificial intelligence (AI) chatbot. Developed in the 1990s, Cleverbot uses a vast database of human conversations to engage in surprisingly human-like text exchanges. Type in a question or a statement, and Cleverbot will respond in a way that often feels eerily intelligent and even humorous. It can mimic human conversation patterns, generate grammatically correct sentences, and even adapt its responses based on previous interactions. However, does Cleverbot possess consciousness? Is it capable of experiencing feelings, having subjective experiences, or understanding the meaning behind the words it uses? The answer, most experts agree, is a resounding no. Cleverbot, for all its sophistication, is essentially a complex algorithm. It excels at mimicking human language, but it lacks the capacity for genuine understanding, self-awareness, or subjective experience that define consciousness. Section 5. Consciousness, more than just wires and sparks. The example of Cleverbot highlights a fundamental question. What exactly is consciousness? Is it merely a product of complex computations within the brain, or is there something more, something that transcends the material realm? While neuroscience has made remarkable strides in mapping the brain and understanding its functions, the elusive nature of consciousness continues to baffle scientists and philosophers alike. We can observe brain activity, identify regions associated with specific thoughts and emotions, but the subjective experience of those thoughts and emotions remains a mystery. Some argue that consciousness is an emergent property of complex systems like the brain, arising from the intricate interplay of neurons and synapses. Others believe that consciousness is a fundamental property of the universe, like space and time, and that the brain is merely a receiver or a filter for this universal consciousness. The debate is far from settled, and the question of whether we can ever truly understand, let alone replicate, consciousness remains a tantalizing challenge. Section 6. The philosophical zombie, a thought experiment. The difficulty of defining and proving consciousness is further highlighted by the philosophical thought experiment known as the philosophical zombie. Imagine a being that looks and acts exactly like a human. It talks, walks, eats, sleeps, and even reacts to stimuli in the same way we do. However, this being lacks one crucial element: conscious experience. It doesn't feel emotions, have subjective experiences, or truly understand the meaning behind its actions. It is, for all intents and purposes, a biological machine, devoid of the inner world of thoughts, feelings, and sensations that we associate with being human. The philosophical zombie, while hypothetical, raises a profound question. If such a being is even conceivable, then consciousness cannot be simply reduced to physical processes. There must be something more, some intangible essence that distinguishes a conscious being from a mere automaton. Section 7. When perception goes awry, neurological disorders. The intricate relationship between the brain, perception, and consciousness is further illuminated by neurological disorders that disrupt our sense of self and reality. Anosognosia, for instance, is a condition where individuals are unaware of their own disabilities. A stroke patient might be paralyzed on one side of their body, yet be completely oblivious to their condition, claiming that they can move perfectly fine. Another striking example is Anton Babinski syndrome, a rare condition where individuals with cortical blindness, despite having no conscious visual experience, deny their blindness. They confabulate, creating elaborate but false explanations for their inability to see. These disorders, while perplexing, provide valuable insights into the brain's role in constructing our reality. They demonstrate that consciousness is not a passive reflection of the world, but an active interpretation, a story that our brain tells itself to make sense of the information it receives. Section 8. The Enigma of the Swamp Man. Let's conclude our exploration of consciousness with another intriguing thought experiment: the Swamp Man. Imagine a bolt of lightning striking a swamp, randomly rearranging the molecules in such a way that they form an exact replica of a human being. This Swamp Man, molecule for molecule identical to its human counterpart, wakes up, walks around, and interacts with the world. But does it possess consciousness? Does it have the same thoughts, feelings, and memories as the original person? The Swamp Man thought experiment challenges our intuitions about the origins and nature of consciousness. If we believe that the Swamp Man is conscious, then consciousness cannot be solely determined by physical composition. There must be something more, perhaps a soul, a spark of life that transcends the material realm. However, if we believe that the Swamp Man is not conscious, then what does this tell us about the continuity of our own consciousness? If our consciousness can be extinguished and recreated simply by rearranging molecules, what does this mean for our sense of self and personal identity? Section 9. Conclusion. The uncharted territories of consciousness. The quest to understand consciousness is a journey into the uncharted territories of the human mind. It is a journey that takes us from the operating room to the philosophy classroom, from the realm of artificial intelligence to the depths of the swamp. While we may never fully unravel the mysteries of consciousness, each step we take brings us closer to understanding the very essence of what it means to be human. And as we continue to explore this fascinating frontier, one thing is certain: the journey itself is just as important as the destination.